right, everybody. We are, holy shit, an entire hour. Give us a clap, Ryan.
This is gonna be a short one this week.
A full 54 minutes into recording, and you say it's going to be a short one. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. 56 minutes in, and we're going to get started. Tonight, we're going to be drinking a barrel pick from my second favorite Indiana distillery, behind Spirits of French Lick. All right. MGP's in there somewhere. Doesn't matter. Tonight we're going to be drinking some Starlight. We're going to be drinking a barrel pick of their barrel proof rye whiskey. This one comes in at 113.6. It was selected by Lebanon Wine and Spirits. Hey, I know another barrel that's coming in from Lebanon Wine and Spirits. Should be this week. Possibly. Might be this week. Yeah. I didn't tell you all that, but it's true.
Buffalo Trace pick? Because if so, cool. If not, I don't give a fuck.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm a big BT head myself.
Okay. So anyway, this is referred to as golden rye. Look at that. 007.
Now, if I'm reading that label, that's a 10. That is a 10.
So yeah, this is I don't know what else to say about it. I don't know the mash bill. Didn't look it up. I don't remember what the price was. Probably let's say 65. It was probably 65. Yeah, what do you think of that label?
Well, again, the golden rye gets a 10. I love the golden wax on this and all the golden accents to it. I think that Starlight looks pretty good. It's a pretty good looking bottle, if basic. The overall bottle doesn't wow you, like the bottle shape and everything. The overall label shape is very standard, just your rectangle, you know. But and also the star symbol is not that. But again, it's one of those things that's greater than some of its parts. No individual element is outstanding, but I think it all combines to make a solid label, if nothing else. The one knock I'm going to give on it is it doesn't have a very consistent font choice throughout. It's kind of all over the place with its font. Seems like they're still feeling out exactly what the branding looks like, but I think it still looks okay, and it's still easy to tell any of the Starlight bottles. I don't have them memorized of what they are, but they're color coded and they look nice together on a shelf, and the colored wax is always a good touch. A lot of that stuff is not the label though, so I'm just going to be giving this one a 6. I think it's above average, doesn't look bad, but it has a ways to go of still, I think, maybe feeling out its way for what they want the ultimate feel of the bottle to be.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's fair. Ryan, anything you want to add?
Another green facing for rye whiskey.
Yep. Ryan, do you guys get Starlight up there?
I have not seen it, but I'll keep an eye on it. It's not something that I've seen though.
It probably wouldn't be at a corporate store. It would be at a Binny's if it was going to be up there. It would probably be at a Binny's, I would guess. And of course, family-owned liquor stores would have access to it at least.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever had Starlight before? Anything from them?
I have not. I've been tempted by so many of their bottles though, because they sound delicious. Like the different casks that they're finished in have always sounded super appealing to me, but I've not jumped on one just yet.
Okay. Well, what do you say we give it a try?
Let's do it.
I'm good. I'll be all right.
Okay.
This is very minty. Well, that was weird.
It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, very minty. Get a little clove on it too. And the color is very dark. It seems like a very thick whiskey.
Well, I mean, again, it's 113.6, so it's not a low proof. I get a lot of honey. Shocking, right? Like, it's called golden rye for a reason.
Yeah,
I get
agree
some
with you
caramel.
guys.
I get caramel and I get vanilla.
A little
A
oak.
little bit of. I get some cherry. Definitely some cherry.
We should just give the same tasting notes for every bottle going forward. Vanilla,
But Sam-
caramel, oak.
and just and do like varying degrees of enthusiasm when we say it.
It turns out all these episodes we've just been hearing what Ryan's upper lip smells like. It's like definitely clove.
I do get some cherry though.
I fucking hate you so bad sometimes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Wow. Interesting flavor right off the bat. I get baking spices right away, but the baking spices that I get are unusual ones. I would say like I get like pepper and like the type of baking spices that you throw into like weirder dishes. Like not the traditional stuff you bake. This is like you walk into the kitchen, you're like, you
I'm
making
getting some dillweed.
you making some Turkish shit? What is going on in here? That kind of thing. Because it's like flour you'll taste and pepper and yeah, maybe some dillweed or thyme, stuff like that. Sage. There's weird notes to it that's like earthy to it. More of something you'd expect from a wine, I would think.
The thing I can't like, and I don't mean this in a negative way when I say I can't get over. Like, it's a. I'm not going to go into whether it's positive or negative, but I will say that the thing that I am shocked by is how dry it is. Like, it's a really, really, really dry whiskey, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's sweet though. Too like
Yeah.
when you first try it, it's very sweet and decadent, and then that baking spice comes in the back of the throat, and then it's just a pretty long finish for me.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
you know it's a rye. There's no. It's not a subtle rye.
No. Still very sweet though. Maybe it's that mint I was talking about. I get a lot of mint throughout it. The nose, the palate, even the back end. It's not overly sweet, but you get that nice little mint flavor. I like it a lot. I could brush my teeth with this, dude.
I wouldn't recommend it though. Not its intended purpose.
Ryan, how are your anal fissures doing?
It's been a lot better the last few years, dude.
That's good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah, a little blood from time to time still, but whatever.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tell you what, there's nothing worse than just taking a dump and then there's blood just dripping out of your asshole, making a little splash noise on the water.
I don't know why this podcast hasn't taken off, you guys.
I don't either. Hey, play Prison Sex by Tool.
Prison Sex by Tool on Amazon Music.
Yeah, we can't have copyright infringement. Otherwise, we can't monetize this.
Yeah.
We won't be able to monetize if
No one wants to hear about the murder scene in my toilet. That was.
Well, you got to leave that in. Leave that in. Just take the Prison Sex song out of it.
Yeah. Man, did I not get like the pink shirt memo today? You guys could at least told me.
You know what? Just go back to the shit talk if that's the kind of level of content we're gonna have.
Seriously, that's like that's the lamest corporate joke that
Well,
is
Ryan's
in
I'm
existence.
pissed, I'm pissed off because I was wearing a pink shirt yesterday.
Ryan's got an office job now, Dan. So you have to forgive him that he's just. We've heard these jokes a million times in our lives at this point. Brian's just trying to catch up because up until now he's been riffraff out on the streets.
No, dude,
doing
I've
manual labor.
I rehearsed this conversation over and over about 13 times actually to make sure it was that result. Shout out to a new show that's out called The Rehearsal. It's a Nathan Fielder show, and it's the first episode blew my mind.
I have not watched the second yet, but yeah.
Yeah,
The
the first one was better.
You should definitely check it out, Dan. If you got you have HBO, yeah,
Yeah.
you should check it out. The Rehearsal. It's the guy that did Nathan for You, which I think you watched some
You did
of.
what?
He did Nathan for You.
He was the guy we were talking about the Instagram photos.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Called The
So-
Rehearsal. Yeah.
and he basically helps people out who've been avoiding something. So you just have to watch it. It essentially the guy rehearses the conversation he's going to have with his friend about something he's been lying about for like 12 years.
And you need to know that it's real. It's like a hidden camera show.
Okay.
He just finds weird people on Craigslist and shit like that, and then he puts them in weird scenarios.
This episode, Dan, you meet the guy that the first episode's about. You know, he agrees to be on the show, but Nathan Fielder was like, "So, do you remember that gas leak you had that someone came in and checked out a whole team of people?" He's like, "Oh yeah, they checked out my stove." He's like, "No, it was my crew. They covertly filmed the layout of your apartment." And Nathan Fielder built not him, but HBO built a set replica of the guy's apartment.
They found out
Hey,
like
wow.
in his bookcase, they found out what books he had, and in their set, you can even see how he has like, books that have like a piece of paper wrapped around them, and then he has written the name of each book. So he goes in and makes like an anecdote about one of the books he has by like walking over to it and pulling the exact one and going like, huh, and he like makes some sort of like quip about it that he had practiced ahead of time, just to give this guy an example of what he could do for him to prepare for this thing he wants to do.
Okay.
It's next
Well,
level shit.
It's like a social experiment, man. It blew my mind. I was trying to explain it to Maheen. She's like, "I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about," until she started watching. She's like, "Okay, now it makes sense."
I have a wild story real quick for you guys. So
About tortoises?
no, unrelated,
Damn it.
but I
Ooh, shit.
this is crazy. So Paul Sorvino died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I knew that.
okay. I was gonna say
I saw it today.
take your time, look him up, Dan. But
I saw a thing about it earlier today.
got it. So Paul Sorvino died. Separate from that, me and some friends have had this joke for a while. We watch shitty movies all the time. Somehow one night we were looking up a movie called we were looking at this movie that we had just watched, and we were like, what are some of these actors in now? We came across Paul Sorvino for some reason. We saw him in an upcoming movie on IMDb called My Jurassic Place, and we're like, what the fuck is that? We look it up, and it's this weird movie that looks like some like German project that's clearly just like Paul Sorvino's like the main guy in it. They're like using Paul Sorvino as some sort of weird kind of B-list actor to kind of like get the movie made. One of those kind of scenarios. It's just this weird project. It's just bizarre. We haven't thought about it in years, but at the time we were like, oh man, if that ever comes out, we got to check this out. Because if you look up the movie, it's very weird looking. It's very low budget looking. And you're like, some weirdo German guy made this. We forget about it. Then last night we were watching another movie, and we thought about My Jurassic Place all of a sudden for the first time in a while. And I was like, whatever happened to that movie? I wonder if it ever came out. I couldn't even remember Paul Sorvino's name last night. But then eventually I was like, oh, that's who it was. It was Paul Sorvino. We look it up again. My Jurassic Place still hasn't come out. And it was last talked about in like 2018. So that must have been when we last talked about it. We're like, holy shit, it's been longer than we thought. And it still says it's filming on IMDb. We're trying to figure out if this movie's ever going to come out, what happened to it, just out of just morbid curiosity of this weird project. We're trying to think of the best way we can possibly like just ask somebody involved with the project if it still exists. We ended up landing on, we looked for Paul Sorvino on Cameo last night. I was just going to ask him on Cameo. He doesn't have
You
a
sent
cameo.
him a picture of your taint.
He doesn't have
and he died.
no, not quite. But he doesn't have a cameo. However, his wife does. Dee Sorvino. I sent her a request last night for a cameo. And I'm saying it's for my friend Dylan, who wasn't there with us, and we thought it'd be a funny like video to show him. And I said, my friend Dylan was looking forward to My Jurassic. Oh, by the way, I should mention Paul Sorvino was going to like star in it, and also Dee Dee herself, as probably like a favor to Paul because he was doing this as a favor. Dee Dee was going to be like a co-star, so she was going to be in it as well. And I said my friend Dylan was looking forward to My Jurassic Place. Any updates on it? Can we watch it somewhere? And we were all laughing about it. Ha ha, funny, blah blah blah. Then today at work, I see the headline that. Oh, by the way, I paid an extra 80 cents on top of her only $9 charge for a cameo because, I mean, it's Dee Dee Sorvino. But I paid an extra 80 cents for a 24-hour response because that was offered. And I saw that Paul Sorvino died, and I immediately took a snapshot of that headline, and I sent it to my friends, and I was like, I don't think we're going to get the 24-hour turnaround. And we were all laughing about it. It was insane. I was like, oh my God. When I first saw on my Google News feed, Paul Sorvino, I was like, oh great, Google's listening again. Then I saw he died today. And I was like, what the fuck? And my buddy Charlie was like, dude, you, Dan, and Ryan are just the harbingers of death. And I was like, who should we request a cameo from next?
So, gentlemen, hey, what do you say we go ahead and rate this son of a bitch?
Let's do it.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll be short and sweet. I really like. I know you guys, I don't think got it as much as I did, but it's very minty, and I've been on a mint kick lately. A couple of mint chocolate chip milkshakes at Baskin Robbins that are like $10 for a small now, by the way, but that's a different issue for a small size. It was just really good.
No,
It's
no,
really
let's stay on this for a minute.
It's good though, very complex. Those baking spices you talked of, Steven, and then the sort of decadent that I get when I first drink it is really nice, and then it changes to a long finish with those baking spices. First time I've ever had this stuff. I think the color on the juice is great too, and I really wish I didn't have some ice, but I don't know if you guys have tried it with ice. I'm interested to see what it would taste like, what flavors it would bring out, but I'm gonna go solid 8.0. I thought it was really good. The proof is just perfect. I think if they went a little higher with it, you'd sort of get that more methane taste to it. But I think this is a really good bourbon, or rye, excuse me.
If that was the short and sweet version,
That was.
what was the extended version like?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Okay.
But on a separate note too, I've had like 2 of these bottles in the last like month probably.
Yeah.
It's just a good, I know we've reviewed it before, but that's a good bottle, man.
Yeah.
For the price.
And for the audio listeners, that was Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a good bottle. No one ever talks about it except us.
That's true.
Don't worry, in a few years, Fred Minnick will catch on, and all of a sudden, it'll be his bourbon of the year.
Yes, it will. It depends how much they're paying him.
Yeah.
But we do
What a
it for
job.
free.
Critics who sell out. That might be the best job ever.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't wait till we can sell out. Jesus, that'll be nice.
$1.50 and
Yeah.
and it's yours. Steven,
I'll-
you want to go next or you want me to?
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.0.
Wow. 2 8.0s.
Yep, I will. I'm giving it an 8.0 because I think it's It's really, really good. Honestly, it's one of the best barrel picks I've had in recent memory. It's not the best because that one is we're still waiting on that one to come in. But it's one of the best barrel picks I've had in recent memory. Very good. A lot of, like I said earlier, I like baking spices in my bourbon, and I think that this had rye, sorry, but it has such interesting baking spices that comes out. A lot of times we're always talking about the same baking spices. This one, when I still think it tastes like baking spices, but again, it's maybe not the baking that you do at home. But they're all different, interesting notes. And the dryness to me is there, like you talked about. But I don't think it's unpleasant. Maybe if I had like multiple pours of this in a row, it would kind of get old. I agree with Ryan. It may be interesting with an ice cube, but really, I mean, I would try this in anything because it's just super solid. The nose, we didn't talk too much about the nose other than some quick talking about it. It smelled like mint, and we made the joke about it. It's all those typical notes, but it is really pleasant. I'll go back and say as well. I think the whole experience is pretty pleasant. I really have nothing bad to say about it, but I didn't love it enough to give it anything over the 8, but I think it definitely deserves an 8.
Yeah, so I've been on the fence on where I was going to rate it. 4 different points. So let me talk through it, and I'll see if I settle on one of those 4 or where I'm at on one of those 4. I think it's a fantastic whiskey. I think that Starlight is one of my very favorite small craft distilleries in the country. They put out fantastic whiskey, just fantastic whiskey. Everything they do is really, really good, super underrated. And this is exactly what I would expect for them to put out. Now, understand that this is probably a year and a half old. Okay, so like this is not recent. It's I've had it for quite a while. And that's not a pro, that's not a con. It's just I'm just putting it out there that if you wanted this particular exact bottle, you're not going to find it anywhere at this point. I think that this particular barrel pick and Starlight as a whole is a fantastic bottle. It's complex. It's a rye. That's right up front. And I don't think that the dryness is a negative. It's really dry, but I don't think of that as a negative. And for this particular bottle, it just is what it is. And I'm going to go with an 8.1. I was going to go between us. I was going to go with 7.8, 7.9, 8.0, or 8.1. And y'all both went with 8, so I'm going with an 8.1.
It's good enough for me.
Yeah. And if you see a Starlight bottle and you have not had a Starlight bottle, grab that Starlight bottle. They're a great distillery.
Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show.
And so far, just so you know, she's not fulfilled it, but she has another. She has another like 2 hours before it was 24 hours.
You should leave a bad review.
Like, what in the fuck? I don't know. Who knows what DD Sorvino was doing on July 25th of 2022, but apparently it was more important than my request.
That I paid an extra 80 cents for.